And missing a mere seconds.
All right. Hello, YouTube. I don't see anybody logged in yet, but this is the first time that I'm doing it not on my laptop. So if it's difficult, hey, Jesse, woohoo. If it's difficult for those of you on YouTube to hear, write a little message on the chat zone and I'll try to figure it out. All right, cool. Welcome, you guys. My name is Allie Schulz, and this is a Yin Yoga class. If it's your first time doing Yin, then hi, Skander, welcome. Then you're in for a treat. It's much slower and much more invested in relaxation and release than the vinyasa classes that are designed to kind of create heat and strength and while creating more flexibility. So we'll begin, but I want to make sure that you have a wall nearby that you can put your legs up on. So any wall will do, and you actually don't need much space. So we're not going to do like a big wide straddle or anything. We're going to mostly be working hips width distance and maybe like 2 feet wider than your hips. So take your time to get set up. And once you're set up, you can let your mat either be wide against the wall like I've done here, or you can have it turned the other way so that it's vertical. Okay? Hey, Julia and Amanda, good to have you guys. So we're getting set up against the wall. No props are necessary. And once you're ready to go, just know that if you can hear my voice, I'll talk you through as clearly as I can. You don't necessarily have to keep the camera, or rather your screen, next to you because you're going to be on your back and it might disrupt the relaxation. So get yourself comfortable. We're going to start on our backs with the feet up against the wall. And once you place your feet up against the wall, you want to find a 90-degree angle behind the knees. Okay, so that 90-degree angle you can achieve by shifting the hips either further away from the wall or closer to the wall. So find that position for yourself. And then take a big breath out. To me, it feels already just by putting my spine on the floor, laying down, like an invitation to let go of some effort, at least in the upper body. I feel inclined to close my eyes, and if you do too, definitely go there. Let the eyes close. Begin to notice the breath rising and falling in the belly. We have this nice sliver of an hour to let whatever's happened thus far in our day kind of slip back into the past where it actually is, and also release whatever concerns we have for the rest of our evening and hang out in this simplicity of right now, where you're just lying on your back. So from here, you'll keep your 2 soles of the feet on the floor, and then just kind of lift your hips up. So you'll press your feet into the wall just enough to float the hips up. It doesn't take much pressure. And then with your hips floated, take the left ankle and bring it right on top of the right knee. So you're doing that sort of figure 4 shape. It's a hip opener. And then as you lay the hips back onto the floor, decide for yourself if you need to scoot the hips away from the wall. So if you have a tight hip or glute area on the left side, you might want to create more distance from your hips to the wall. And then if you want to go a little deeper and increase the opening, you'll scoot your hips closer into the wall. So the sole of the right foot does stay put right there. And then the left hand, the left heel of the hand, will find itself somewhere on the left thigh bone or the left knee. So basically your hand is just wedged right up in there, so it's like a little kickstand. And even though this might seem like an obvious stretch for your left glute, the left outer hip, it's actually a really sweet release for your lower back as well. And the more you can let your hips sink down to the mat or whatever surface is beneath you, the more the lower back and the sacral plate can start to let go. And starting with this very simple figure 4 shape, You can right away notice not much work to do here. There's not very much effort involved. Allow the shoulders to really release, giving over to the surface beneath you. And allow the jaw to soften. And with the eyes closed, as the rise and fall of your chest or your belly with the breath. See if you could open the aperture of your throat, almost like your throat is broadening from right to left and front to back. And begin to open your ears to the sounds in your room. Just notice the coming and going of sounds. Their flow-like state. One comes and then soon enough it goes and a new sound comes. Constant change. From here, we're just going to kind of sidestep the right foot down the side of the wall or wherever your foot is propped up, all the way until the sole of the left foot comes onto the floor. So if you're having trouble seeing me, or if you need to take a quick reference, you can obviously glance to your screen and do that whenever you need to. But basically, we're maintaining the figure 4 shape. There's still a 90-degree angle behind the right knee. Sole of the left foot's on the floor. The upper back is on the floor, and now the arms will do that same sort of kickstand thing with the right hand wedged into the inner left thigh, so that the right elbow on the floor and the palm inserted on the left thigh serves really like a kickstand does for a bike, so that there's no work necessary in the arm. It's just the weight of the leg falling into the hand that holds the structure here. And your left arm can go out to the left, so there's a twist involved. Also a chance to release the fascia, the posturing muscles along the spine. Closing the eyes again if they opened. And in Yin, we're not after precise physical arrangement. So if the heel of your foot lifts away from the wall, or if this is too intense, by the way, I should say, scoot the hips further away from the wall so that that 90-degree angle of the right leg might become a little more obtuse, 60 or 70 degrees. Or no, that'd be less, closer to 100. And then see if you could relax the right leg. So that's the one with the sole of the foot on the wall. And now with every breath out, just let the weight of the pelvis fall into the ground. And noticing that sometimes pretty quickly in this Yin practice, the choice to find a pose and then become still in it, that the breath deepens and the thoughts might slow down in their pace. And see if you can relax the sides of the neck, and the muscles that connect your shoulders to the skull. And see if the weight of your hips could surrender a bit more down into gravity. See if maybe the weight of your left thigh bone could fall a little more fully into the right hand. And then notice the connection of your lower back to your pelvis. And sometimes you might find as you take a deep breath that there's a crack or a pop to the spine. It's just the tissue in this slight compression of a twist wringing itself out. It's like you squeeze the moisture out so that when you unwind, it actually moistens the tissue, the connective tissue fascia. Find one more deep breath in and out here. And very slowly, to come out of this, you'll start to heel toe the right foot back up the side of the wall. And once you find yourself back in that starting position, undo the left leg. I like to kind of twirl my ankle in between sides, get out any cracks or there. And then we'll find the same thing on the other side. So come back to neutral, your two legs, hips width distance, 90-degree angles behind the knees. Always rearrange the hips if you need to. And you'll lift the right foot up, find that figure 4 shape. And the right hand will then press against the right knee or right thigh, but do let your elbow, the right elbow, relax onto the floor so that, again, as little effort as possible to maintain the pose. That's what we're going for here. So it is merely time and breath. It does the work of unfolding and unwinding some of that tension that builds up throughout the week. Relax jaw so that the top teeth and bottom teeth can just gently separate apart from one another. If your eyes are closed, you could even let the weight of the eyeballs drop back down towards the back of your skull. And as rudimentary as this might seem, just holding this pose, there's sort of this archaeological dig effect that happens as you hold in stillness. Release. That they won't be required to engage and lift heavy things or carry you around. And sometimes there's even that emotional sort of stress reaction that the muscles take on. And here, knowing that there's nothing to protect or withstand, you can, breath by breath, release the weight of the hips down. I should say again, if this ever feels too much, just scoot your hips a couple inches away from the wall. If it doesn't feel like enough, you could scoot the hips forward, keeping in mind though that you're really not after that intense feeling. It's like subtlety, or 60% of your stretch capacity is what we're going for here. And see if the weight of your pelvis could once more soften down towards the ground. Let the deepening of your breath encourage the release on every exhale of the back body, so the spine and the back of the head. And then just like we did on the other side, taking your time, you'll start to toe heel the left foot down all the way until the sole of the right foot comes to the floor. You can kind of scoot your out depending on the depth of stretch you want. And then once more, we'll wedge the left hand to the inner right knee this time. The right arm can come out to the right. So there's that kind of sprawl of a supine twist that you can really give into here and enjoy. I'm just noticing how there's sometimes a deeper and more thorough release when you start slightly backed off of the depth of your stretch. So starting with a very, very manageable experience and witnessing how just the holding of it does the work for you. Sometimes in the yin practice, will be little bubbles up in my mind of circumstances that I might be dealing with in my life that I've been pushing, trying to speed up the process to reach completion. And when you lay down and find stillness, sometimes it's a moment to reflect on perhaps how to bring this approach into those areas that we might be striving and rushing a little bit. And see if you could release the weight of your right thigh or right knee a little more into the left hand. And then see if you could release again the weight of your pelvis towards the floor. And notice now how the breath coming in and coming out is a little bit of a massage on the belly muscles in your slight twist here. Relaxing again the corners of your mouth, the corners of your eyes. Let the weight of your left leg, the one up against the wall, let that relax. And notice how there's this gentle but constant unwinding of your right hip. See if you could let your mind join the body in stillness for a few breaths. Release the weight of your skull into the ground. Take one more deep breath in and out. And then just like you did on the other side, begin to toe heel the left foot all the way back up side of the wall until you can then bring the right leg out. And let's take two legs up now and give the ankles a roll. From here, so you know in our vinyasa yoga, we take malasana. It's a yoga squat, right? And you're sitting sort of beneath the 2 feet. We're going to find that now up against the wall. So to get there, just walk your 2 feet out so that still 90 degrees. And you do want your feet basically beneath the knees. And there's not an active push into the wall. I mean, I'm at windows. I'm not going to do that. But you really don't need to push actively. It's just a slight feedback of the surface beneath your feet. They can reinsert the thigh bone back into the hips and then allow the hips to relax. And then relax the lower back. So here, you can either let the hands come out to your sides, or if you need a little support, you can take the hands under the knees. If this feels like a strain on any of your groin or inner thigh. And see if the low back has a curve to it. If you want to, what I just did is I kind of temporarily picked my middle back up and lengthened the spine and brought the rib cage slightly up away from the hips so that the low back is flat. You can rest your hands on the belly or by your sides. And again, we're not after like the biggest, most grandiose spread of your legs. It's just about 60% of your stretch capacity. See if the cheeks, the muscles of your face, the mask of the personality could start to melt down towards the ground. And see if, again, the weight of your pelvis can sink. There's a subtle release, surrender of the pelvis. We don't even realize is there and available until we make that constant invitation. See if even the throat and the neck are still holding, and if they are, invite them once more to soften. Take one more full breath here. You might need to use your hands to assist back in. I know sometimes it almost feels like I'm carrying someone else's leg bones back once I've had them spread. So use your hands if you need to. Oh, and then scoop the legs, or rather extend the legs all the way up. And then we'll scoop the hips close into the wall, maybe even all the way so that your tailbone, or not bone, but hips and butt is right up against the wall. And if that's hard for any of you to do, no worries. Just keep the distance that you need. And from here, we'll take Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet come together. And then you can let the heels sink down towards your pubis. And once more, this does not need to be exact. It's not about a precise body arrangement situation. It's not about the way it looks. So if the feet slightly separate, you can let that happen. You can let the arms come out to the sides again. And just notice where the body lands. You can kind of try to keep the feet together, but naturally one might fall a little closer into the groin than the other. Bring your attention to the breath in its most natural form, where you need do nothing to it. You needn't lengthen the breath or deepen the breath more. Just begin to notice and watch its natural expression. And see if the back of your neck could let go a little bit more. See if your lips and tongue could relax. And then slowly bring the legs together and extend the legs up once more so that the feet are right over the hips. And now feel how this kind of drain of your legs with hardly any effort part can now gently reinsert the femur back into the hip and further relax the lower back with that little extra weight of leg bones down. For some of us, this can feel like a strain. So if you're somebody that feels like this is very, very effortful, just scoot your hips a little further away from the wall until the incline of your legs is the lower back rather than makes it hold on. And just take one more moment here to find a deep breath in and out. Bend your knees, roll to one side, and come up. All right. How are we doing up here? Hi, everyone. So, hopefully that felt relaxing. Sometimes in the middle of the day, if you find that you have low energy and you want to revitalize the body and the mind, you can put your legs up the wall like we just did. It sends a nice rush of blood back to the heart, to the head, and can feel kind of like you just took a nap. Just how I feel a little right now. So once you're seated, take your time. We're just going to do comfortable cross-legged position. Hands can come to your knees. Take a second to feel now how the spine is growing up and out of the pelvis. So a different structure now than when we were on our backs. And just close the eyes and begin to lengthen the crown of the head up and let the weight of the hips root down. Okay, from here, just bring your left ear to the left shoulder. Take a couple deep breaths with the sternum lifted, so there's a nice sense of buoyancy in the chest and a sense of rootedness in the hips so that the weight of your pelvis still is grounding down into the mat. And then super slowly drop the chin in towards the chest. And see if your whole spine can stay very upright, except for the head, so that it's really the cervical spine and perhaps the thoracic spine, the middle upper back that's receiving this stretch. And then bring your right ear to the right shoulder. Heavier left shoulder. Lift the chin. And do it again, and now we'll sort of connect the dots a bit more fluidly, rolling the chin forward and to the right. And lift. One more time, giving over to gravity a little bit more, like the head is a bowling ball. Chin. Left ear. Lift it twice more this way. See if each time you do it, you can let gravity guide the rhythm of this head roll a little more. All right, stack your head on top, take the arms out and up. Interlace your fingers, turn the palms up, and then give yourself a deeper side body stretch. Come back to center, take the hands down, and we're going to keep this interlock of your hands as we come into a tabletop position. So once you're here in tabletop, tops of the feet press, the palms also root down, and then we'll move through some cat-cows here with this hand position. You'll drop the head and the tail, And then inhale to expand through the chest. Exhale, lift the sides of the waist up, drop the head down. Inhale, open. Exhale, scoop the belly up and in. Open up, turn your hands back forward and then turn them out just 90 degrees and take a couple circles around the wrists. 90 degrees is fine if this is your max. If you're able to, flip the hands all the way in so that you've turned the left middle finger to your left knee and the right middle finger to the right. Elbows, give them a little micro bend if you can. It won't be much. And then from there, almost like you're opening curtains, open the elbows out to the sides. Inhale, drop the head and the tail. Big wrist stretch. Exhale, open through the chest. Do that a few more times. Inhale. And X. In. And X. Last one. And X. And then lift the left elbow high. Place the hand back down. Lift the right elbow high. Place that hand back down. Take the right fingertips in between your chest and take a big old stretch open with the left hand. Look up to the left thumb. Turn the left palm forward and sweep the left hand all the way forward until the fingers come down, and then try the right side. Inhale. Right arm turns forward and you sweep that hand forward and down, and then continue with this swimmer stroke. This is opening the back of the heart, that space right between the shoulder blades. Keep going. You can kind of get lost in it, closing the eyes, moving with the rhythm of the breath so that the inhale lifts the left hand, or whichever hand, the exhale sweeps it forward. This is a really nice one for anybody who swims, or really anyone who like sits at a desk a lot because the upper back can get kind of stiff. A nice way to floss through the shoulders if you're doing anything strenuous. And take one more stroke forward and then spread through your hands. Tuck the toes, and even though it's Yin Yoga, we'll do just a quick down dog stretch to open the backs of the legs. So do this in a fashion that feels good for the backs of your legs. If that means bringing your knees down, if you get tired in your down dog, you can always extend through one leg at a time with these knees on the floor. Otherwise, pedaling through the backs of the legs and through the soles of the feet. All right, and then from here, lift the right leg up and gently step the right foot through between your hands. And if it didn't make it all the way there with your one step, just move it manually with your hands forward and through. And then lower the back knee, untuck the toes, and come up to Anjaneyasana. So Anjaneyasana, you'll press a little bit down into the front foot so that you're not dumping entirely into the hips. And basically what I do is I drill the heel down and then I pull it in towards my right glute. Taking the arms up, you can interlace your fingers and turn the palms up and take a little back bend. And then take the hands behind the head and bring the elbows in and up. Keeping some engagement in your legs to support you here. Squeeze your inner thighs together, but then drop the hips a little deeper. And take 2 more breaths in and X. In and X. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, hands come to the inside of your right foot, and then just toe heel the foot out to the right. In yoga, front left hip flexor stretch, right hamstring stretch, wherever you else. Go as deep as you want to. If you need a prop to set your hands on, you can also do that if you feel rather tight here. And if you want to start to walk the hands forward and bend the elbows a little, you can do that. The final hold of this pose is going to be head down, upper body relaxed as possible, even though you're supporting your weight a little bit with the arms. And then we'll just stay for about 1.5 minutes. Okay, so relax the head. Relax your jaw if your jaw happened to clench. Even though the arms are serving like brakes, right? They kind of give a cue to the body that you are supported enough to let go. Try to relax the shoulders. And see if you could feel the sacral plate, that's the lower back. If you feel any gripping there, see if you could release it just by kind of inviting mentally and with the breath that area to relax a little bit. And if you need to back off of the pose, do that. Letting the crown of the head really drip down, almost like the thoughts of the week that might feel laborious or burdensome could sort of drip out and down one by one. Take 2 more breaths here. Start to come up. Very carefully begin to shift the weight back, any amount. The right toes will flex. And huck your right hip crease back in space, almost like you could take your thumb, which you can, and pull the right hip back. And you can continue to flex through the toes and think about drawing the pinky toe towards you faster than the big toe. So there is a real engagement and direction there of the foot being flexed. Lengthening the spine. And again, if you have blocks, if you need to be a little higher up, totally fine. There's in no way an expectation to straighten your leg all the way or fold completely. It's just an opportunity for you to join with the breath and invite the connective tissue of your right hamstring to relax. Notice if you have any go-to tension transfers. For me, it's my jaw. When I'm releasing one zone and it feels at all intense, my teeth clench. So it might be that for you. It might be a shoulder or neck thing for the belly. Just see if that tension has traveled elsewhere. Okay, come back forward to bending the right knee and then lift the left knee up. And we're going to straighten both legs just enough so that you can begin to turn. The right toes will turn slightly to the upper left corner of your mat, and your left leg now will extend. This is kind of like a skandasana setup. And let's go ahead and do that movement. Just bring your weight over to the left leg. You can let the right toes face up. Open the inner right thigh. And then take it up and over to the right. And come along once more to the left. And then this part's always kind of fun. You can kind of plop backwards until the hips come down and the left foot's on the floor with the left knee bent. Hold your left ankle with your right hand. And then take your left arm up and over, almost like you could touch your right toes, although I'm pretty darn far from that. And just take a deep breath into the left side body. Right hand on the left shin or ankle to hold you in place. Take one more breath in and out. All right, come back up. Hoist yourself back forward and take yourself once more over to the right. And we'll do the whole thing on the left. So walk yourself back to the left, framing your left foot. Come back to a down dog. And we'll just come to this down dog as a means to get forward to the left side. Left leg's going to draw up. Step the left foot through between your hands. And of course, if it doesn't make it all the way there between the hands, you can move it around. Let me turn so I can face you guys. All right. So left foot's on the floor. Anjaneyasana will come up first here. Draw the navel in, and then see if you could once more pull up and out of the left hip so that the ribs float away from the waist. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, breathe in. Hand out. Take the hands behind the head, and then begin drawing the elbows up and in. So you're opening the upper back. And you can let the hips come a little bit further down. 2 more breaths here. And take the arms back up, inhale. Exhale, hands come inside the left foot. If you need to toe heel the left foot a little wider, that's okay. I like to do that, so a slightly wider foot stance than hips width. And breathing in, you can open up the chest. And just like we did when the right foot was forward, we'll slowly find our way into this held release of the right hip flexor, the underside of your left leg, the back of the neck. Again, arms serve as a form of brakes so that you really can let go in the head and let go of your hips resisting gravity. If you feel inclined after a few breaths to go a little bit deeper, of course, you can walk the hands forward and bend the elbows. Mine are pretty far from resting on the ground. You can always use props too if you need a pillow or blocks. Letting again the weight of the head, the top of your skull, almost like it had a light on it and it could shine directly down, letting that drop. And just stay for 2 more slow, deep breaths, releasing the weight of the hips any more if you can. Take your time to come up. Slowly you'll begin shifting the hips back so that the left foot is forward in your half splits, half Hanuman. Flex through the toes, especially the left pinky toe. You can bend through the left knee, hook the left hip crease back, extend your heart forward, and then begin to fold down. Again, just like on the right side, there's no pressure at all to straighten the left leg. It can stay bent. You could use blocks or whatever you can find around the house. I see a shoebox there. I can take a shoebox. Most importantly, you find that first moment of resistance and pause. And allow that choice to find stillness in the face of resistance. To then trickle into a little bit of softening. Checking on your jaw, the eyebrows. Relax your left foot. Stay for another 2 breaths. Extend the heart forward and bend the left knee again. This time, lift the right leg up. And we're going to transfer now into that Skandasana shape again. Sorry to give you my backside if you're watching. Anyway, we'll bend the left knee, turn the right toes up. Go ahead and crawl yourself over to the right. Bend the left knee. And bring yourself up and over to the left. The right leg is straight. And then this time we'll pause, right knee bends. Take your time to lower your hips down to the mat or the floor. And you'll hold now the right leg. Let me turn around. Hold the right foot with your left hand and side bend here. So this kind of serves as your anchor. Take 2 deep breaths in and out to the right ribs, the right lung. Taking your time, you'll come up and come back again to that Skandasana shape and move twice more through right and left side. Come to the right leg and then come back to a downward facing dog. Once you're back in your downward dog, bend through the knees deeply, opening the soles of the feet. And then take yourself through to sit. And you can get there however, you can lower to your knees. Lay down on your back. Once you're on your back, pull your knees up and into your chest. And just pause here for a moment. Extend the left leg in front of you. And interlace the fingers over the right shin. And slowly taking your time, we'll come into now a supine twist. Left leg extends over, right leg extends to the left side of your body. Right arm, if you're kind of trapped at the wall like I am, feel free to move yourself away so that you have room to extend through the right arm. Once you get set up here, instead of keeping the left knee deeply bent, if you want to straighten it up out a little bit so that you can sort of relax more into the twist, you can find whatever position of your legs you need to open up your arms and let the shoulders relax and let the hips relax. Sometimes it's nice to keep the left hand weighing down the outer right thigh. Allow the chin to land wherever it feels most comfortable. So there's absolutely no need to force it in the opposite direction. You can just let the chin be directly up or even to the same side that you're twisting to. If it naturally goes the other way, great, but move where the body naturally winds up here and stay there. And scanning the body for any little micro tensions, any sense of guarding going on out of protection or guarding the self, which can sometimes just be a result of a very busy week. Making sure that things are arranged how and where they need to be. Right now you don't need that, so you can, as much as possible, let go of that protection, knowing there's nowhere to get to. You're just laying here, allowing time and breath to more efficiently unwind any tension in the body, today specifically in the lower back. If you catch the mind racing off somewhere or getting distracted, gently redirect the breath or the mind back to the breath. And take your time to come back to center. Find your way onto the other side. So you can cross the left leg. Oh, actually first, sorry, didn't mean to skip that. You'll pull the left knee up and in, interlacing the fingers. Take a few breaths here, about 2 or 3 breaths. And gently you'll scoop the hips slightly to the left as you twist the right leg over to the right, the left leg over to the right, and the right leg extends out long. Sometimes I like to push my head down to float the shoulders up so that I can kind of release the right shoulder a little flatter down onto the mat. Let your eyes close and the chin or gaze turn to wherever it feels most natural. And watching here how in this gentle twist, the breath gives this massage again to the internal organs. Right across the belly. Even giving a little massage to the kidneys and the lower back. And keep bringing the mind back to the breath and to the heaviness of your shoulders on the mat. And taking your time to really drink up these last few moments on this side. Letting go the weight of the head and the skull. Slowly come back to center. And give your 2 knees now a little stir so that the thigh bone can roll around circularly in the hips. If you want to lift the legs up, give your feet a flex. Roll the ankles around one last time. And coming into Shavasana, if there's any final movement or posture you want to take before settling down, you can do that. And then we'll just take a moment to really let the body find stillness. Yin Shavasana, I like to take up a little more space. So I'll open up the legs slightly wider and the arms a little bit wider as well. I'll close the eyes. Once the eyes close, Soften the corners of your eyes again. And starting at the soles of your feet, let your attention, like a flashlight, illuminate the body. So from the feet up to the knees, breathe. And feel that. From your knees to your hips. As you exhale, let the whole weight of your legs release down, surrendering to gravity. And feel the hips of the muscles that wrap around from back to front. And then feel the skeletal structure of your pelvic bowl. And release any engagement of the muscles in the hips so that they can also surrender to gravity. And let your attention now light up, illuminate the belly, the lower back. Seeing how accordion-like the belly opens with the breath and softens back to the center with the exhale. Watching the rib cage do the same. Expanding and softening. Travel your attention to the back, to the spine, to the upper back. And let your upper back sink down. And in contrast, watch the chest buoy up with breath. Let the throat, again, opening the aperture of your throat, widen and broaden. Allow the arms to release, the fingers to naturally curl in. And let the face, the muscles like honey melt down into the surface underneath you. Even the scalp. And let the space between your ears and behind your forehead soften. And just watch yourself now, mere observer of your existence. With each passing thought, just keep coming to the breath. If you that ended, whoops, okay. Sorry guys, that ended abruptly. On Instagram, on YouTube, if you can gently start to wake up. If you want to stay resting, stay resting. I know that yin can be a nice segue into a little nap. Anyway, thank you for joining me. And it is a pleasure to teach Yin. It's probably my favorite class. I love that you guys tune in. So, yeah. Hi. Sorry, guys, that ended abruptly on Instagram. And for those of you on YouTube, have a beautiful rest of your week. Hi again, guys, on Instagram. If you want to join me tomorrow at noon, it'll be a vinyasa class. And that's it. If you would like to donate, I set up a link in the YouTube description. You can do that by clicking that. Or there's a Venmo account I created. So thank you guys so much. And rock on. Rest well.